YouTube, hey, it's Casey Dimon here, TaxSaleAcademy.com, and thank you so much for joining me as I record an episode for the Tax Sale Podcast. If you want to listen to podcasts, check us out, TaxSalePodcast.com. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the audio portion right now. Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Dimon. I'm a tax sale veteran. I'm the leading tax sale expert and trainer, the author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to let you guys know how much I love and appreciate every single one of you that listen to me, especially those who have taken the time to subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and leave some positive feedback. If you haven't yet had the chance to do that, please take a few seconds to give us that 5-star rating and leave a quick positive comment. It really means so much to us. On a side note, guys, this podcast is 100% supported by the Tax Sale Academy. If you're looking to learn through an extremely organized step-by-step process, head to TaxSaleAcademy.com and click on Join. All right, guys, today I want to talk about tax sale success traits. To lay this episode out properly, I want to give you the full context for everything. I've been in this business for close to 17 years now as a tax sale investor. I've seen my own personal ups and downs as well as those veteran investors around me. But so much more importantly than that, I've been teaching brand new tax sale investors how to invest in tax vaulted real estate since 2011 through the Tax Sale Academy. And this has given me such an insight on the traits that the most successful students of mine have had over the years. When I see students come from zero tax sale experience to the point where they just completed their very first transaction, it gives me such joy and such excitement. At this stage in my career, I actually tend to get more excited for their deals than my own. Then it continues to make me push myself on my mission of helping as many people as possible see tax sale success in their lives. This eventually leads to me asking them questions, getting their feedback, and figuring out what they did to put the trainings I created to work properly, to work successfully. What exactly did they do? What traits, what characteristics did they also bring to the table in addition to the trainings that I offer them? The resources that I have at my disposal to compare, gauge, and analyze those who have had tax sale success really provides me with such a detailed insight that allows me to teach and train new investors even better, allowing this incredible continual cycle of only the best trainings producing the best results for my students. But the fact remains, they also bring certain traits to the table when they enter training. If they don't bring those traits with them, they quickly develop these traits. And over the years, I continue to be amazed that just about every single student that I've had, once they start seeing success, they all have kind of the same exact traits. They might have minor variations or differences here and there of strategies and process and stuff like that, but their traits remain the same. So I want to go over these traits with you today to help you see tax sale success in your own life. It might even help you to write these down and continually remind yourself of these traits to make sure that you're staying on the right track. Number one, they all have a hunger to learn. Like they want to know everything possible about this business. They have such a desire to succeed in this business, and they know the pathway to that success requires immense knowledge. So they are incredibly driven in their pursuit to learn as much as they possibly can. And this one is so big, guys. Every single time that I hear a success story from a student, one of the very first things that I do without even telling them is I go to TaxSaleAcademy.com in my portal and I can look at their activity history. I can see every single page, every single training that they accessed and how long they accessed it for. And this will show me so much information. It gives me really a lot of insight. More often than not, the most successful students that I've ever seen come from the Academy go through every single piece of training at least once, and many of it multiple times. This demonstrates to me that they are willing to put forth that extra effort and they are hungry to learn. And if you're an Academy member, you know the incredible amount of information, the incredible amount of trainings inside the Academy. To me, this is tangible evidence that these students always put forth the most effort possible when it comes to learning about this business. All right, number two, they are constantly gaining momentum. When you think back about how you learned in school, in grade school, you constantly gain momentum, right? You will never understand how to do algebra if you can't first do simple addition, right? You are always being pushed forward, gaining more and more knowledge and momentum with one thing building on another thing. And when you get started in this business, you shouldn't be in a situation where you start today, you do it for a week, You take 3 weeks off for the holiday, then you do it another week, and then you stop for a week and you start back up. It should not be like that. When you do this, you lack momentum and you'll not make any measurable progress. The most successful students that I have are constantly gaining momentum every single day. And I actually did a podcast episode on this not too long ago, so be sure to check it out. But you're constantly being pushed forward. You're pushing yourself forward nonstop. Maybe you can't drop everything and learn and spend hours and hours and hours and hours today, but maybe you can spend just a few hours every single week and then commit to doing one small thing every single day to help you continue to develop that momentum. Just like learning anything new, it requires constant pursuit. Do not stop. Number 3, they demonstrate patience. And this is one thing that can really derail your progress faster than anything else. You put yourself into some artificial timeline, like you want to buy your first property in 20 or 30 days or whatever it is. Please don't do this. There are so many things that are beyond your control. The auction dates, the properties that are offered, the competition, the county rules, so much, guys. But for whatever reason, people want to rush this process. Simply put, you can't. And if you try to, you're going to lose. I had a student in my academy one time who was a student for over a year. They were constantly progressing. They were gaining momentum slowly, but they were constantly doing something. She would learn, relearn, attend auctions, ask questions. She was just a fantastic student. About after the 3rd month she was in the academy, she had a very small budget and she had very specific investment objectives. But after about the 3rd month, she started going to auctions. Didn't get a single property for over a year. And then one day, boom, she cleared $30,000 on her very first transaction off of something like $11,000 investment. Then 2 weeks after that, she bought a property for $5,000. She kept it as a rental and she rents it for $1,000 a month. Like absolutely phenomenal results. Phenomenal. Now, not to say that these are typical at all, guys, but this demonstrates exactly what patience can do for you. Could you imagine month 6, 7, 8 that she just gave up? She kept pursuing it. She gained that momentum and she was patient. And after a year, it paid off. And then it paid off again. And then last I heard, she was doing even more deals. So patience is such a virtue as a taxable investor. Number 4, they take action and they take action properly. Nothing happens unless you take action. And I know this phrase might sound cliche or overused, but it's the absolute truth when it comes to this business. At some point, you need to start researching properties, then doing your drive-bys, then attending auctions, then buying properties. There are a series of actions that must take place prior to you ever seeing any success at all in this business. And these can even be maybe micro type actions. You don't have to go out and buy your first property today or tomorrow or anything like that. Remember, you have to have patience. But maybe you just review a list. You research a property. You research a law. You look up a neighborhood, that kind of stuff. But more importantly than taking action, you need to take the proper action. And this goes back to learning what you're doing, that kind of stuff. Don't just do something to do it. Don't just go out there and buy a property to buy it. Spoiler alert, guys. Taking action could mean that the action you take is also to learn. That is the action. That's the first action step for so many people, taking the time to learn. So learn what you're doing and then take the proper action based on what you learn. And last one, number 5, they always learn how to overcome resistance. And this is the last primary trait that I'm going to discuss today that I see with my most successful students. They always face some sort of resistance. To me, this resistance might be an extremely minor bump in the road, but to a beginner taxable investor, it could seem like the end of the world. How you handle this resistance will determine if you do or don't make it in this business. Every single property and every single transaction is unique. There are going to be plenty of times where something pops up that presents a challenge. If you expect everything to be roses and easy in this business, you've got a rude awakening coming. But if you also have the traits that we've previously discussed up to this point, you're likely going to be the same type of person that's going to have a positive outlook that will find a solution and will be able to overcome every single bit of resistance. I guarantee you, resistance will come. Whether you see success in this business or not will all depend on how you handle that resistance. So that's it, guys. These are the 5 most common traits that I see amongst my most successful students. And again, if you need to write them down to constantly track and remind yourself, please do so. Here they are one last time. They are always hungry to learn. They are gaining constant momentum. They have patience. They take the correct actions. and they always overcome resistance. If you commit to yourself that you will find it in your heart to develop these traits, then you'll be well on your way to tax sale success. Of course, the biggest one of these, in my opinion, is something that I devoted a good portion of my life to, which is learning the proper steps and strategies that you need to successfully invest in this incredible and very lucrative business. All the students that I've talked about today that have seen tax sale success, in addition to these 5 traits, also, of course, have in common that they were members of the Tax Sale Academy. If you're ready to learn the same steps and strategies that they learn, just head to TaxSaleAcademy.com and click on that join button. Again, TaxSaleAcademy.com. Click on join. I cannot wait to hear your success story and see if you also develop these same traits. And as always, guys, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and a positive comment if you enjoyed today's episode. Take care, guys, and make it a successful day. See ya.